Hello. So today we are going to talk about attachment style and particularly your attachment style. So if you are the salesperson or the entrepreneur that is trying to sell your art or your healing services or whatever you're trying to sell, we want to explore what is your anxious attachment style and how does that impact the sales process with your customers or clients, and how to be more effective as a salesperson with this attachment style. So if you haven't already taken a quiz, there's a million quizzes online where you can Google, answer a series of questions, and it's going to explain what your attachment style is. There are 3 styles, and all of us have a dominant one, but all of us have aspects of all 3. So anxious attachment is when someone pulls away, you get scared they're going to leave you. And this obviously impacts your dating life, but it also impacts the sales process. Then there's avoidant attachment, where you feel like overwhelmed. You feel like people around you are going to smother you. And so in this attachment style, you often pull away because you are feeling overwhelmed and feel like you're going to be smothered. So in the dating world, that means you go on one date or a couple dates and maybe you ghost. And in the sales world, that might be something like you forget to answer an email. Someone reaches out to you, they want to buy from you, and you pull away. You don't respond to them in a timely manner. And timing is super important during the sales process, because when someone gets the impulse to make a change in their life or to buy a piece of art or whatever they are doing, if you can connect with them in that moment when they have that emotion in their body and they have that momentum, that's really going to help you. Whereas if they reach out to you and you respond a month later, they might have already bought a painting, or they might have changed their mind. It's not their value anymore. So responding, I'm not saying you have to work 24/7 and be on your phone 24/7, but the faster you can respond, especially to sales inquiries, that's really going to have a positive impact. So the third attachment style is secure attached. And in that attachment style, you know that you're allowed to set healthy boundaries. So if people try to overwhelm you, you know you're going to have your own back and set those boundaries. And you know that if people pull away, that maybe it doesn't mean anything, right? Like if you're anxiously attached and you're dating someone and they don't respond for 2 days, the anxious attached person is going to go, oh no, they hate me now, they're ghosting me. The anxious attachment person in a sales process, if they don't hear from that sales prospect for a few days, is going to go, oh no, they bought from someone else, they don't want to buy from me. Whereas the secure attached person in that sales process is going to be like, oh, they're probably busy. They probably still want to buy from me, but it's taking them a few days because I know they have other things on their plate. This is not the end of the world. So I'm going to talk how to be more effective at sales regardless of your attachment style. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is how to build your secure attachment. We can all become more secure attached. Even if you're already fairly secure attached, there are things you can do to become even more secure attached. And the secure attached salesperson is the person that is going to make the most money, because you are not going to be chasing after a client. That's one of the pitfalls of an anxious attached salesperson. And you're not going to be ghosting, hiding, being weird, trying to push away a client, which is what the avoidant attached salesperson, that's one of the pitfalls. So let's go through all of these attachment styles, the sales process, and how to increase your effectiveness. So when you're anxious attached, and when I started my business, I have to be honest, I was pretty anxious attached a lot of the time. And you can get really stuck on one customer or one client. So maybe someone reaches out to you, they are interested in buying from you, and you get super attached to making the sale to this person. And to them, it doesn't feel good, right? If you're like, you aren't listening to them as well as you could be, because you have this goal and you think you don't want to be left because of your childhood. Probably as a child, someone pulled away, someone left you, it was incredibly painful, and now you're scared this potential client, this potential customer is going to leave you, and that will be painful. And so you're projecting all of this stuff that's probably has to do with a parent, most likely, or one of your primary caregivers. You're projecting that onto the customer or the client. And that is not a fun place for them to be. So as someone who did this and maybe followed up too many times too quickly, right? It's like, instead of having a conversation with them, leaving it for a week, following up, it was like, follow up. And to them, it's not even about the quantity of follow-up. There are some people that are secure attached that are going to follow up many times, but it's almost the vibe of the follow-up of, are you saying something like, hey, have you thought about it? Which is a little more anxious attached. Or, if you follow up from a secure attached place, the follow-up is more like, hey, I was just thinking about your goal and how freaking amazing it is that you want to build this business that's an herbalism business that's going to heal the world. I'm so excited about your business, and I really want to help you get there. So let me know if you want to work together to help you build that herbalism business. You can feel the difference, right? In the second one, the secure attached one, I am more thinking about them. I am more looking at their goal and saying, hey, if you want to, we can do this together. If you want to work with someone else, all my love and support. There's no pressure for you to work with me, but I really believe in you and I really believe in your vision. So let's freaking go. So if you're anxious attached, it's almost like energetically, I just want you to lean back in the sales process, to breathe, to go for a walk around the block and get really into a sense of peace in yourself before you respond to the email, so that you're not peppering them, you're not poking them in this process, but instead you're supporting them, you're listening to them, you're listening to their goal, you're listening to their vision, and you're saying, I am all in. I want to help you achieve this goal. I want you to overcome this anxiety that has been crippling you. I want you to overcome this chronic pain that's making everything in your life so hard, and I know that I can do that, and I'd love to work with you because I believe you deserve to live without chronic pain, and I want you to get that support, whether it's from me or from someone else. So that's the energetic. If you're anxious attached, just slightly lean back, open your heart, open your chest, and go from this where you're chasing after them to some place where you're there to support them, but you're not chasing after them. Okay, let's talk about the avoidant salesperson and the pitfalls that can happen and how to heal those pitfalls. So we all have all three, right? So I can relate to the avoidant person too. And when I'm in my avoidant attachment in the sales process, I forget to email people back who ask to work with me or say, oh, my sister would love to work with you, send me the website. And I'll find that email like a month later and be like, oh shoot, I didn't write back to them. And now, who knows if they still want my product or my service now that it's been a whole month. So if you're an avoidant attachment style and you're in a sales process, it's important to remind yourself that you get to have boundaries if this person becomes your client, if this person becomes your customer, and you want to energetically lean in a little bit. So for the anxious attachment style folks, we're leaning back energetically. For the avoidant, we're leaning forward and knowing that you still get to have boundaries. Even if you get 10 new clients tomorrow, you don't have to respond to their emails right away. You get to take weekends off. You get to protect yourself and your energy so that you can support them and answer their questions thoroughly in the sales process. Because if you are giving ghosting energy in the sales process, they're probably gonna go to somebody else. I remember one time I was thinking about hiring someone to be a supervisor for me, and I wrote them an email, and they didn't write back for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and I was like, I don't know if I want this person to be my supervisor, because if I have a challenge with one of my clients, I want to be able to get a hold of them. And it seems like it's hard to get a hold of them in the sales process. I'm not sure they even want me as a client. They're not showing that much interest. So I don't know if I'm going to go in this direction. So that is the experience of the client, the potential client or the customer when you are holding back. So again, you don't have to save this person. Those who have the avoidant attachment style in the sales process are scared that this person is going to take over their whole life. So it's not about saving them. It's not about doing whatever they want just because they're your client or your customer, but it is about supporting them. It is about encouraging them to work with you. If you're watching this or listening to this, I'm imagining you want this person, you want more clients, you want more customers. So it's about saying, I would love to work with you. This is how I work with people, answering their questions in a custom response to their questions about the working with you or buying your art or whatever you do, and giving them that support. So again, if you're a anxious attachment style salesperson, lean back. If you're an avoidant attachment style salesperson, lean forward, lean in. Send some warmth to the person in this process so they know that they can trust you and you want to help them. And you still can set boundaries. You do not have to respond to a phone call at 3 a.m. I think another tip for avoidant style salespeople is to actually have boundaries and standards. So I know for myself, if someone is calling me at 3 a.m. as part of the sales process, assuming they live in my time zone, maybe it's someone in Europe or something that, made a mistake and accidentally called me in the middle of the night. But if it's someone in my time zone that's calling me in the middle of the night during the sales process, I already know that's probably not the type of client that I want to work with. So I think for you, especially if you have some avoidant attachment, which we all do, it's really good to decide what kind of boundaries and standards you have for your clients and customers. How do you protect yourself through automation or through actually saying no to some of the people that want to work with you? And I definitely have had to say no, because I can tell by the tone of the email or the number of requests for help, the number of emails. It's like, okay, this isn't going to work for me. This isn't something that I want. So to have those boundaries and standards for yourself so that you make space for the people who are ideal clients, who are ideal customers, that are not going to call you 3 times at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday, and that you are going to really enjoy working with. So the last thing I want to do is talk about building secure attachment. Even if you're already securely attached, we can always become more securely attached, and that is one of the best ways to become one of the best salespeople in the world. Because when you trust yourself to figure it out, and you trust the client or customer to make the right decisions for themselves and to find the support that they need, it's going to be the secure attached people, most people trust because they kind of emanate this security, and a huge part of any sales process is trust. Is this person a snake oil salesperson? Can I trust them? So here are some thoughts I want to offer you to build your secure attachment. So the first one is, there are 8.2 billion people on planet Earth. So even if the person who's in front of me right now doesn't end up being my client or customer, there's 8 billion more people. So I trust if this person is meant to work with me, they will. And if they're not, I send them with all my blessings. I hope they get the support they need. But I know that I'm going to fill up my practice, or I'm going to sell out of my offer, whether this person does or not, because I trust myself and I trust them. Thought number 2, to build secure attachment, I'm going to give you 3 thoughts to build secure attachment, is if I get overwhelmed by my clients, I am allowed to set boundaries. I am allowed to fire a client. I don't think I've ever actually had to fire a client, but I know that if this person we start working together, and they do start calling me at 3 a.m., they do start emailing me 17 times a day, they do reach out to me on every platform imaginable to DM me, they start exhibiting behavior that I know is not an ideal client behavior for me, I am allowed to fire a client. I am allowed to set boundaries. I am allowed to create systems and processes and automations that protect my spirit and my energy and my time. And I am allowed to change my mind. The third thought to build secure attachment is I am going to be doing this for the next 10 years, or even 5 years, 20 years, whatever your vision is for your business. So it's okay if it takes me 6 months to learn how to be an excellent salesperson. It's okay if it takes me 10 months to figure out my marketing. It's okay if I don't sign any clients for 6 months, and then after 6 months, I figure out the sales process and I sign, 10 clients in a week. That's pretty good. So I really don't recommend starting a business if you want to make a shit ton of money in a year. That does occasionally happen, and I would love for that to happen for you. But I don't think it ever happens from like a demand that I got to make 100K in my first year, or I got to make $1 million in my first year, or I got to have an exit in my first year. It's very rare. So to remind yourself, I've committed to this business for the next 5 years. Even if I have to get a day job, even if I have to live with roommates, which I do, even if I have to, change some things about my lifestyle, I'm committed to this because I believe in the vision of this, and I believe in putting my time and energy towards this. So I am going to continue on. So that is how attachment style relates to sales. If you have not taken an attachment style quiz, there are a million online. Please take one. If you're watching this on TikTok, follow me for more money witchy things. I am going to teach you how to make more money in witchy ways, in spiritual ways, using things like attachment style to improve your marketing and improve your sales. So follow along and stay tuned. I have a book coming out soon. I don't even know what the title of the book is yet, but it's going to be all about how you can earn more through healing and through using psychology and the stress cycle and all of these different tools to earn more money, become ethically rich, and change the world. So, talk to you later. Bye.